Adana knew her mother-in-law hated her. The moment she saw the woman spit on the ground after their introduction. That was 5 years ago. Today, sitting in her empty living room staring at another negative pregnancy test, Adana realized the hatred had only grown stronger. Adana, her husband Chuka's voice came from the bedroom. My mother is coming to visit tomorrow. Please make sure the house is very clean. Adana closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Another visit. Another round of insults disguised as concern. Another weekend of hell. Okay, she answered quietly. She heard Chuka moving around in the bedroom, probably getting ready for work. He was a good man, her husband. He provided for her. He supported her fashion business. He never raised his voice at her. He told her he loved her every day, but he never defended her from his mother. Just ignore her, he always said. You know how old people are. She doesn't mean it. But Mama Chuka meant every word. Adana knew this like she knew her own name. The next morning, Adana woke up at 5 a.m. to start cooking. Mama Chuka would arrive by noon and everything had to be perfect. Not that perfection ever mattered. The woman would still find something to complain about. By 11 a.m., the house was spotless. Jollof rice was cooking, chicken was frying, the guest room was ready with fresh sheets. At exactly 12 noon, a knock came on the door. Adana opened it with a smile she didn't feel. Good afternoon, Ma. Mama Chuka walked past her without responding. She was a tall, big woman who always wore expensive Ankara and gold jewelry. She looked around the living room with a frown on her face. Where is my son? She asked. He went to the office, Ma. He said he'll be back by 2 p.m. So you left him alone in this house to go and be selling clothes in that your shop, Abby? No, Ma. I've been home all week. I took time off to prepare for your visit. Taking time off, as if you are doing any serious work. If you are busy carrying pregnancy and taking care of children like a proper wife, you won't have time for shop. Adana's smile stayed fixed on her face. 5 years of practice had taught her how to smile through insults. Let me get you some water, Ma. She brought cold water in a glass cup on a tray. Mama Chuka collected it and drank without saying thank you. She dropped the cup back on the tray with force. Where is the food? I'm hungry. Adana served her jollof rice, fried chicken, moi moi and salad. She served it beautifully on the good plates. She set the table properly with fork and knife. Mama Chuka looked at the food and hissed. This rice is too red. And why is the chicken so small? You people don't have money to buy big chicken, or you're the one eating all the big ones. I'm sorry, Ma. Let me bring another piece. Leave it. I'll manage it. After all, this is what my son can afford with a barren wife who is draining his money on useless business. Adana went to the kitchen and held the edge of the sink. She took deep breaths. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't give her the satisfaction. When Chuka came home at 2 p.m., Mama Chuka's face transformed. She was suddenly all smiles. No, Ma, my son, come and hug your mother. How is work? You look thin. Is this girl not feeding you well? Chuka hugged his mother. Mama, I'm fine. I eat very well. You know Adana is a good cook. Good cook that cannot cook a baby in her womb. Mama Chuka said, but she said it like a joke. She laughed. Chuka laughed too, but it was uncomfortable. Adana served them both food. She sat down to eat with them. Why are you sitting? Don't you have things to do in the kitchen? In my time, young wives did not sit with their husband and their mother to eat. Mama, let her sit, Chuka said gently. Times have changed. Yes, times have changed. That is why girls of nowadays cannot born children. Too much sitting down and not enough respect. They ate in an uncomfortable silence. After the meal, Mama Chuka said she wanted to rest. She would stay for the whole weekend. That evening, Chuka's phone rang. It was his youngest brother, Emeka. Mama is with you? Emeka asked loud enough for Adana to hear. Ah, thank God. At least you people will get chance to relax here. When Mama is around, everywhere is just wahala. She would turn your wife to housemaid. Sorry, oh Adana. Even Emeka knew. Even the whole family knew how Mama treated her. But nobody did anything about it. That night in bed, Chuka reached for Adana. She moved away. What's wrong? He asked. Your mother called me Barren today. She said I'm draining your money. She said in her time, wives knew their place. Adana, you know how Mama is. She's from a different generation. Just ignore her words. Ignore? Chuka. 5 years I've been ignoring. 5 years of insults. 5 years of being treated like I'm not good enough. And you just tell me to ignore? What do you want me to do? She's my mother. I'm your wife. Chuka sighed. Let's not fight. She's only here for the weekend. Just manage, please. Manage. That was always his answer. Manage. Adana turned her back to him. She stared at the wall until she heard him snoring. The next morning was Saturday. Adana woke up to sounds in the kitchen. She rushed there to find Mama Chuka opening her pots. Good morning, Ma. So you people sleep till 7 a.m. on Saturday? When I was your age, I was done cooking by 6 a.m. No wonder you cannot born. Too much sleep. I'll make breakfast now, Ma. No need. I've seen the kitchen. You people don't have food in this house. Chuka's salary is good, but his wife is spending it on makeup and clothes for her useless shop instead of filling the house with food and children. Adana cooked breakfast quietly. Yam and eggs. She served Mama Chuka first. This yam is hard. You didn't cook it well. Chuka, come and see what your wife cooked for us. Chuka came from the bathroom, toothbrush still in his mouth. He looked at the food. Mama, the yam looks fine. You are defending her? You see what women of nowadays do? They use juju to tie their husband's eyes so he cannot see their failures. Mama, nobody is using juju on me, Chuka said, but he was laughing like it was a joke. But it wasn't a joke to Mama Chuka. Her eyes were serious. You will know when it's too late, when you have wasted your best years with a woman who cannot continue your family name, when your brothers have plenty children and you have none. Then you will remember what your mother told you. After breakfast, Mama Chuka said they needed to go to the village. For what, Mama? Chuka asked. Your uncle is having a small gathering. All your brothers will be there with their wives and children. We must go. Adana's heart sank. The village, where Mama Chuka's torture becomes 10 times worse. They drove for 4 hours to reach the village. When they arrived, the compound was full of people. Chuka's 3 brothers were there with their wives and children. The children were running around, playing, shouting. The first wife, Ifeoma, had 3 children. The second wife, Blessing, had 4. The third wife, Neka, had 2. All of them pregnant women with children everywhere. And then there was Adana. Empty-handed, empty woman. Adana, Mama Chuka's loud voice rang out from across the compound. Come and help in the kitchen. All the other wives are cooking. Why are you standing there like a visitor? The other wives looked at her with pity. Or was it mockery? Adana couldn't tell anymore. She went to the village kitchen. It was hot and full of smoke. She started helping to cut vegetables. Neka, the youngest wife, whispered to Blessing, loud enough for Adana to hear. I wonder what kind of person cannot born for 5 whole years, even animals born every year. They giggled. Ifeoma, the oldest wife, said nothing, but she didn't stop them either. Adana cut onions. The tears from the onions mixed with real tears. Nobody could tell the difference. From outside, she could hear Mama Chuka's voice praising her grandchildren. Come to Grandma. Look how big you have grown. You are all my joy. At least some of my sons married women who know how to born. After hours in the kitchen, they finally served the food. Adana served everyone else first. By the time she sat down to eat, her own food was cold. Why are you sitting? Don't you have things to do in the kitchen? In my time, young wives did not sit with their husband and their mother to eat. Chuka was sitting with his brothers. He heard his mother. Adana waited for him to say something. He looked down at his food and said nothing. Adana stood up and went to wash the plates. That night, they slept in one of the village rooms. Adana couldn't sleep. She could hear the children laughing and playing even at night. She could hear the wives chatting happily with their husbands. She looked at Chuka sleeping peacefully beside her. How could he sleep? How could he be okay with how his mother treated her? How could he just watch and do nothing? The next morning before they left the village, Mama Chuka called all the wives together. I want to talk to all of you, she said. Ifeoma, Blessing, Neka, you people are doing well. You are giving my sons children. You are building the family. I am proud of you. She turned to look at Adana. But you, You are a disappointment. 5 years and nothing to show. If I was your mother-in-law in the old days, you would have been sent back to your family by now. But my son is too soft. He feels sorry for you. Me, I don't feel sorry. I feel shame. When people ask me how many grandchildren I have, I count 13. 13 children from 3 of my sons. The fourth one, the first son, the one I suffered to train, he has 0 because of you. Adana wanted to speak. She wanted to scream that it wasn't her fault, that she had done tests, that the doctor said nothing was wrong with her, that she prayed every day, that she fasted, that she cried herself to sleep, but she said nothing. Because what was the point? They drove back to the city in silence. When they got home, Mama Chuka packed her bag to leave. Before she left, she called Chuka aside. Adana could hear them from the kitchen. My son, I'm telling you, this girl is not for you. I never liked her from the beginning. Now see, 5 years wasted. You are 35 years old. Your mates have children in secondary school. Please, I'm begging you, find a woman who can born for you. Keep this one for fashion business if you want, but marry a proper wife who can give you children. Mama, I can't do that. I love Adana, and it's not her fault. These things take time. Time? 5 years is not time, it's a cost. That girl is cursed. Or maybe she's the one doing something to prevent the pregnancy. Some women do it, you know. They take tablets so they won't born because they want to enjoy their husband's money alone. Mama, please. Adana is not like that. You will see. When it's too late, you will remember your mother's words. Mama Chuka left. Chuka came back inside looking tired. Adana was sitting on the sofa, staring at nothing. Are you okay? He asked. She looked at him, really looked at him, at this man who claimed to love her but wouldn't fight for her, who told her to ignore insults that cut deeper than knives, who sat and watched while his mother treated her like dirt. No, she said quietly, I'm not okay, and I don't think I've been okay for a very long time. 2 months after Mama Chuka's visit, Adana made a decision. She was going to leave her marriage, not today, not tomorrow, but soon. She had started saving money secretly from her fashion business. She had contacted her younger sister, Nkechi, who lived in Port Harcourt. She was making plans. She couldn't do this anymore. The constant disappointment every month when her period came, the hospital visits, the negative pregnancy tests, the prayers that seemed to bounce off the ceiling, and worst of all, Chuka's silence every time his mother insulted her. I love you, he would say at night. But love that couldn't defend you was just empty words. One evening, Adana was closing her shop when her phone rang. It was Ifeoma, the first wife, Chuka's oldest brother's wife. Hello, Sister Ifeoma, Adana answered, surprised. Ifeoma rarely called her. Adana, how are you? Ifeoma's voice sounded strange, worried. I'm fine. Is everything okay? Can we meet tomorrow? Just the 2 of us? There's something I need to tell you. Adana's heart started beating fast. What is it? Is someone sick? Is it Chuka? No, everyone is fine. But please, we need to talk face to face. It's important. They agreed to meet at a small restaurant near Adana's shop the next day. Adana couldn't sleep that night. What did Ifeoma want to tell her? They were not close. In fact, at the village gatherings, Ifeoma was always quiet while the other wives mocked her. The next day, Adana arrived at the restaurant early. She ordered Chapman and waited. Ifeoma came 20 minutes later. Thank you for coming, Ifeoma said. What's wrong, sister? You're scaring me. Ifeoma ordered water and drank it all in one go. Then she looked at Adana with sad eyes. I've been struggling with this for 2 years now, Ifeoma said quietly, whether to tell you or not. But I can't keep quiet anymore. My conscience won't let me sleep. Tell me what? Ifeoma leaned forward. Adana, your barrenness is not natural. Adana froze. What do you mean? Mama did something to you. She's the reason you cannot conceive. The restaurant suddenly felt too hot. Adana's hand started shaking. What are you saying? I'm saying Mama Chuka used juju on you. She has been renewing it every few months. That's why no matter what you do, no hospital, no prayer, nothing works. Because it's not a medical problem, it's spiritual. Adana felt like the ground was moving under her feet. How do you know this? Ifeoma looked around again to make sure nobody was listening. 3 years ago, I went to Mama's house in the village unannounced. I needed to borrow something. When I got there, the gate was open but nobody was in the main house. I heard voices coming from the back near the old kitchen that nobody uses. She paused and drank more water. I went there quietly. I saw Mama with a native doctor. They had a small fire going. The native doctor was putting things in the fire, strange leaves, feathers, something that looked like blood. And he was calling your name. He kept saying your name. Adana's eyes filled with tears. What else? What else did you see? Mama was telling him to make the medicine stronger. She said, I don't want that girl to ever born. Not one child, not even a miscarriage. I want her womb completely closed. The native doctor said it would cost more money. Mama said she would pay anything. And you? You saw this 3 years ago and you said nothing? Adana's voice was shaking with anger and pain. Ifeoma's eyes filled with tears too. I was afraid. Mama is a powerful woman. If she could do that to you, what would she do to me if she knew I was talking? I have 3 children to protect. And you know how these family things are. If I talked, people would say I'm the one causing trouble. They would say I'm lying because I'm jealous or I want to scatter the family. So you just watched me suffer. You watched her treat me like trash in the village while you knew the truth? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But Adana, I'm telling you now, I can't keep quiet anymore. What she's doing is evil. You don't deserve this. Adana wiped her tears angrily. Where does she keep it? The juju, where is it? I don't know exactly, but I heard her tell the native doctor to keep it safe in the usual place. I think the native doctor has it in his shrine, and every 3 months, Mama goes back to renew it. How do you know she still goes? Because I've been watching. Every 3 months, she travels to the village for prayer meeting, but there's no prayer meeting. She goes to see that native doctor. The last time was 2 weeks ago. Adana felt like her chest was going to explode. All this time, 5 years of pain, shame, tears, hospitals, prayers, fasting. 5 years of being called barren, useless, cursed. And it was Mama Chuka, it was her mother-in-law doing this to her. Why? Adana whispered. Why does she hate me so much? Ifeoma sighed. You really don't know? What no? Mama wanted Chuka to marry Chief Okonkwo's daughter, Ngozi. You know Ngozi, the one who owns that big supermarket chain. Adana had met Ngozi once or twice at family gatherings. She was always very friendly with Mama. Mama and Ngozi's mother are close friends. They planned for their children to marry since secondary school. But then Chuka met you in university and fell in love. He refused to marry Ngozi. He said he would only marry you. Mama was furious. She tried everything to stop the wedding, but Chuka's father was still alive then and he supported Chuka's choice. So Mama had no choice but to agree. But she never forgave me, Adana said quietly. Never. They sat in silence. Adana's whole body was shaking. What should I do? Adana finally asked. You need to find that juju and destroy it. And you need to tell Chuka. He needs to know what his mother did. He won't believe me. He always defends his mother. Then you need proof, evidence, something he cannot deny. After Ifeoma left, Adana sat alone in the restaurant for another hour. Her mind was racing. She needed proof. But how? She couldn't just go to the village and start searching for a native doctor. And even if she found him, he wouldn't just confess. Her phone rang. It was Chuka. Where are you? He asked. I'm home and you're not here. I'm at the shop. I'll be home soon. Okay. By the way, Mama called. She's coming to visit again next month. She said she wants to stay for a whole week this time. Adana closed her eyes. A whole week of hell. But this time, she would be watching. This time, she would be ready. Okay, she said. Tell her she's welcome. After she hung up, Adana sat back and started planning. She was going to expose that woman. She called Ifeoma back. Sister, that native doctor, do you know his name or where his shrine is? His name is Okbara. He lives in Umweze village, about 30 minutes from Mama's house. Why? What are you planning? I'm going to get my womb back. When Adana got home that evening, Chuka was watching TV. Are you okay? He asked when he saw her face. You look upset. She wanted to tell him, but Ifeoma was right. She needed proof first. Otherwise, he would just defend his mother. I'm fine, she lied. Just tired. That night, she pretended to be asleep. Chuka tried to touch her, but she moved away, claiming she had a headache. The truth was, she couldn't let him touch her. Not now. Not when she knew the truth. Every time she looked at him, she saw his silence, his weakness, his failure to protect her. The next day, Adana did something she had never done before. She called in sick at her shop and drove to the village alone.
It took her 5 hours because she didn't know the roads well, but she found Umweze village. Finding the native doctor's shrine was harder. She had to ask around carefully, pretending she needed help with a family matter. Finally, a young boy directed her to a compound at the edge of the village. There was a small building separate from the main house. Red and white chalk drawings were on the walls. Scales and feathers hung at the entrance. Adana's heart was pounding. She had never been to a place like this before. She was a Christian. She went to church every Sunday. But here she was, at a native doctor's shrine. She knocked on the wooden door. "Come in," a rough voice said. She pushed the door open. The room was dark and smelt of smoke and something else she couldn't identify. The old man sat on a mat in the middle. He was shirtless with beads around his neck and wrists. "What do you want?" he asked without looking up. "Are you Okpara? Who is asking?" "My name is Nkem." She used a fake name. "Someone told me you can help with spiritual problems." "What kind of problems?" "I cannot born. 5 years of marriage, no child." Now he looked up. His eyes were sharp and knowing. He stared at her for a long moment. Then he started laughing, a deep, scary laugh that made Adana want to run. "You cannot born because someone paid me to close your womb," he said casually, like he was talking about the weather. Adana's breath caught in her throat. He knew who she was. "I was wondering when you would come," he continued. 5 years is a long time to suffer before you start asking questions. "Please," Adana said, her voice was shaking. "Please, reverse it. I'll pay you. Whatever she paid you, I'll pay double." He laughed again. "You think this is about money? The woman who paid me comes here every 3 months with fresh money and fresh threats. She said if I ever break the spell, she will expose me to the whole village. She will make sure I never practice again." "Mama Chuka," Adana whispered.
"So you know her name," he said. "Yes, Mama Chuka. A very wicked woman, that one. I have done many jobs in my life, but what she asked me to do to you, even I was shocked." "What did she ask you to do exactly?" He stood up and went to a corner of the room. He brought out a small calabash. Inside it was something wrapped in black cloth. "Inside here is your wrapper, the one you wore on your wedding day, your underwear from your wedding night, your wedding photo, and other things I will not mention, all tied together with special medicine and buried in this shrine. As long as this stays here, your womb stays closed." Adana stared at the calabash. Her whole life, her whole future trapped in that small container. "Destroy it," she begged. "Please, I'll give you anything. If I destroy it, Mama Chuka will come for me." "Then give it to me. Let me destroy it myself." He shook his head. "If you take it, the spell will fight back. You could die. These things are not to be played with." Adana fell to her knees. "Please, I'm begging you. 5 years I have suffered. 5 years of shame. Please have mercy." The old man looked at her for a long time. Then he sighed. "I am an old man," he said quietly. "I have done many bad things in my life. But when I see a young woman kneeling before me, crying for the child she should have had 5 years ago, it troubles my spirit." He picked up the calabash. "I will give you this, but you must do exactly as I say. Take it home. Do not open it in this village or on the road. Wait until you are alone in your house, then break it open and burn everything inside. Burn it until it becomes ash. The smoke will be thick and black. Don't breathe it. After you burn it, bath with salt water for 7 days. On the 7th day, you will see your breakthrough." He handed her the calabash. Adana took it with shaking hands. "What about Mama Chuka? When will she know?" "She will know immediately when the fire burns. She will feel it in her spirit and she will be very, very angry. You must be ready for war." Adana stood up. "Thank you. How much?" "I don't want your money. I have been paid already and it has brought me no peace. Go and burn your children. And if you ever see me again, pretend you don't know me." Adana drove back to the city with the calabash wrapped in her handbag. Her hands were shaking the whole way. She kept looking in the rearview mirror, half expecting Mama Chuka to appear. She reached home before Chuka. She locked herself in the bathroom with the calabash. With trembling hands, she unwrapped the black cloth. Inside was exactly what the native doctor said. Her wedding wrapper, now dirty and torn, her underwear from her wedding night, her wedding photo with Chuka, but her face had been scratched out, and other things, animal parts, strange powders, things she couldn't identify. Tears ran down her face. This was what Mama Chuka did to her. This was the depth of that woman's wickedness. She took everything to the backyard. She put it all in a metal bucket. She poured kerosene on it and lit a match. The moment the fire caught, thick black smoke rose up. It smelled terrible, like burning rubber and rotten eggs. Adana stepped back, covering her nose. The smoke rose higher and higher, twisting in the air like it was alive. And then Adana felt something. A sharp pain in her lower abdomen. So sharp she doubled over. It lasted only a few seconds. Then it was gone. She looked down at the fire. Everything was burning. Her past was burning. The curse was burning. What she didn't know was that at that exact moment, 200 kilometers away in the village, Mama Chuka was in her kitchen preparing dinner. Suddenly, she screamed and grabbed her stomach. Her pot of soup fell to the floor. She collapsed, crying out in pain. Her neighbor came running. Mama Chuka, what is wrong? That girl, that useless girl, what has she done? What has she done? The war had begun. For 7 days, Adana bathed with salt water, just as the native doctor instructed. On the 7th day, something changed. She woke up feeling different, lighter, like something heavy had been lifted off her chest. For the first time in 5 years, she felt hope. But she also felt fear, because she knew what was coming. Mama Chuka had not called since the day Adana burned the juju. Not one phone call, not one text message. Chuka noticed his mother's silence too. That's strange, he said one morning. Mama hasn't called me in a week. She usually calls every other day. Adana said nothing. She was waiting. On the 8th day after burning the juju, Adana's period was late. She didn't want to hope. She had been disappointed too many times before. But on the 10th day, she bought a pregnancy test. She locked herself in the bathroom. Her hands were shaking as she opened the box. She did the test and waited. 2 lines. Positive. Adana sat on the toilet seat and cried. 5 years. 5 years of waiting, praying, suffering. And now, finally, 2 lines. She wanted to run out and tell Chuka immediately, but something stopped her. She needed to be sure. She needed to see a doctor first. The next day, she went to the hospital alone. The doctor did a blood test and an ultrasound. Congratulations, Mrs. Adana, the doctor said with a big smile. You are 6 weeks pregnant. 6 weeks. The juju had been destroyed just 2 weeks ago, which meant she had gotten pregnant immediately after. The native doctor was right. Adana cried in the doctor's office. That evening, she told Chuka. He was watching television when she sat down beside him with the ultrasound picture. Chuka, she said quietly. Yes, my dear. I went to the hospital today. He turned to look at her concerned. Are you sick? What did they say? She handed him the ultrasound picture. He looked at it, confused at first. Then his eyes widened. Is this what I think it is? I'm pregnant, Chuka. 6 weeks pregnant. For a moment, he just stared at the picture. Then he jumped up and shouted, Jesus, Adana, we're having a baby. He pulled her up and hugged her so tight she could barely breathe. He was crying and laughing at the same time. I told you it would happen. God's time is the best time. 5 years of waiting, but God finally answered. Adana pulled away from him. It wasn't God's time, Chuka. What do you mean? Sit down. We need to talk. Something in her voice made him sit. His smile faded. What's going on, Adana? She took a deep breath. For 5 years, I couldn't get pregnant. Not because of God's timing, not because of any medical problem, but because your mother paid a native doctor to close my womb. Chuka stared at her. What? Your mother put juju on me. She has been renewing it every 3 months for 5 years. That's why nothing worked. Not the hospitals, not the prayers, nothing. Because it was spiritual attack from your own mother. Chuka stood up. Adana, what are you saying? Do you hear yourself? My mother would never... Your mother did it because you refused to marry her friend's daughter. She never wanted me. She never forgave you for choosing me. So she decided to make sure our marriage would fail by making sure I never gave you children. This is madness. Who filled your head with these lies? Was it those your prayer warriors? Those people who always see demons in everything? It was Ifeoma. Chuka froze. What? Your brother's wife, Ifeoma. She saw your mother with the native doctor 3 years ago. She heard everything. She kept quiet because she was afraid, but she finally told me 2 weeks ago. Ifeoma is lying. She's probably jealous or something. Why would she lie about this? What does she gain? I don't know, but I know my mother. She would never do something like this. She's a Christian. She goes to church every Sunday. She prays. She goes to church on Sunday and visits the native doctor every 3 months. How do you think I got pregnant, Chuka? After 5 years of nothing, suddenly I'm pregnant. It's because I went to that native doctor. I found the juju, I burnt it, and the moment I destroyed it, your mother felt it. That's why she hasn't called you in over a week. She knows what I did. Chuka was shaking his head. No, this is crazy. You went to a native doctor, you, a Christian woman, you went to consult juju. Do you hear yourself? I went to get back what your mother stole from me. Your mother didn't steal anything. You are just looking for someone to blame for 5 years of barrenness. They are not lies, Chuka. Prove it then. Where's your proof? Where is this juju you claim to have found? I burnt it. That's how you destroy it. I burnt everything. How convenient. So you have no evidence, just Ifeoma's word and your own story. And you want me to believe that my mother, the woman who raised me, who sacrificed everything for me, would do something so evil? Adana felt her anger rising. The same mother who insults me every time she visits, the same mother who treats me like a housemaid in the village, the same mother who calls me barren and useless, that mother, she's old-fashioned. She's from a different generation. That doesn't make her a witch. I'm not saying she's a witch. I'm saying she paid a native doctor to ruin my life and she succeeded for 5 years. I don't believe you, Chuka said coldly. I don't believe any of this. You're probably feeling hormonal because of the pregnancy. Let's just drop this conversation. Drop it? Chuka, your mother destroyed 5 years of our lives and you want me to drop it? He grabbed his car keys and headed for the door. Where are you going? Adana asked. Out. I need to clear my head. I can't listen to this madness. He slammed the door behind him. Adana sat alone in the living room, shaking with anger and hurt. Even with the truth, even with a witness, even with the pregnancy as proof, her husband still chose her mother. She called Ifeoma. He doesn't believe me, Adana, she said, crying. I told him everything and he called me a liar. I was afraid of this, Ifeoma said quietly. Chuka has always been blind when it comes to his mother. But don't worry, the truth will come out. Mama knows you destroyed the juju. She will come. And when she comes, the truth will reveal itself. Ifeoma was right. 2 days later, Mama Chuka showed up at their house unannounced. Adana opened the door and found her mother-in-law standing there with a small bag. But this was not the proud, strong Mama Chuka she knew. This woman looked sick. Her face was drawn, her eyes were red. She had lost weight. Where is my son? Mama Chuka asked. Her voice was weak. He's at work. Call him. Tell him to come home now. I need to talk to both of you. About what? Mama Chuka's eyes blazed with sudden fire. You know what, you foolish girl? What have you done? What have you done? I destroyed your juju, Adana said calmly. I found it and I burnt it. You went to Okbara. Yes, and he told me everything. 5 years of my life you stole. 5 years. You don't understand what you've done. You don't know the consequences. That juju was not just on you, it was protecting me too. Now that you've destroyed it, the backlash... She stopped and clutched her stomach. What backlash? Adana asked. When you break a spell like that without the proper rituals, it backfires on the person who cast it. Since you burnt it, everything I put on you is coming back to me 7 times stronger. I have been sick for 2 weeks, vomiting blood, stomach pain. The doctors can't find anything wrong with me, but I know what is happening. Good, Adana said coldly. You deserve it. Mama Chuka looked up at her with shock. You want me to die? I want you to feel what you made me feel. 5 years of pain, 5 years of shame. You did this to me because your son chose love over your plans. You tried to destroy my marriage for 5 years, destroy my life, and you have the audacity to come here and ask for sympathy. I am your mother-in-law. You should respect me. You are not my mother. My mother is dead, and if she was alive, she would never have done to anyone what you did to me. Mama Chuka's face hardened. I knew you were a wicked girl. That's why I had to protect my son from you. Protect him? You tried to destroy us. You were never meant for him. Ngozi was supposed to be his wife. Beautiful, rich, successful Ngozi who would have given him children immediately. But he chose you, a nobody, just a pretty face that made my son stupid. I did what any mother would do to protect her son's future. Any mother?
No, Mama, not any mother. Only a wicked, evil woman would do what you did. Mama Chuka raised her hand to slap Adana, but Adana caught her wrist. Don't you dare. Those days are over. You have no power over me anymore. At that moment, they heard a car in the compound. Chuka was home. He walked in to find his mother and his wife facing each other, Adana holding her mother's wrist. What is going on here? Chuka demanded. Mama Chuka immediately changed. She started crying. Mommy, my son, this girl wants to kill me. She has done juju against me and now I am dying. Please help your mother. Chuka rushed to his mother. Mama, what happened? Why are you crying? He helped her to the sofa. She was crying and coughing dramatically. Your wife, your son's wife, went to a native doctor. She did juju to kill me. Now I am sick. I am dying. My own son's wife wants to kill me. Chuka turned to Adana with fury in his eyes. Is this true? Did you do juju against my mother? I destroyed the juju she did against me, Adana said. There goes again with these lies. She wailed. I have never done juju in my life, but she has, and now she wants to blame me for her own wickedness. Chuka, call Ifelma right now. Let her come here and say what she saw. Let her tell you the truth.
Ifelma is lying for you, Mama Chuka screamed. You probably paid her to lie. You and that witch are working together to destroy me. Fine, Adana said. She picked up her phone. Then let's call the native doctor. Let's call Okbara and ask him who paid him. Let's ask him whose wrapper and wedding photo he had in his shrine. Mama Chuka's face went pale. Chuka noticed. Mama, why did your face change? It changed because she knows I'm telling the truth, Adana said. Call him, Chuka. Call Okbara from Umweze village. Ask him about the woman who comes every 3 months to renew a spell against her son's wife. This is, Mama Chuka couldn't finish. She just sat there, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. Chuka looked at his mother, really looked at her. Mama, he said slowly, tell me the truth. Did you do what Adana is saying? I did it for you, Mama Chuka burst out. I did it to save you from a woman who would waste your life. Look at Ngozi now, married with 4 children, running a successful business empire. That could have been your wife, but you chose this nobody, and she couldn't even give you 1 child. Not one. The room went silent. Chuka stood frozen. His mother had just confessed. Everything Adana said was true. You actually did it? You destroyed my marriage for 5 years because you wanted me to marry someone else? I wanted better for you. Better? His voice was rising. You call making my wife Barren for 5 years better? You call making her suffer, making her cry, making the whole family mock her? You call that better? She was not worthy of you. That's not your decision to make. I chose her. I married her. She is my wife. And you. He couldn't even finish. He was shaking with rage. No, Ami, please understand. Get out. Mama Chuka looked shocked. What? Get out of my house right now. Chuka, I am your mother. A mother doesn't destroy a son's life. A mother doesn't torture her daughter-in-law with witchcraft. You are not my mother. You are a stranger to me now. Mama Chuka turned to Adana. You see what you have done? You have turned my son against me. You are a witch, a destroyer of families. I didn't turn him against you, Adana said quietly. You did this to yourself. Everything you did to me came from your own wickedness, and now you are facing the consequences. You will pay for this, Mama Chuka screamed at Adana. Both of you will pay. That pregnancy you are carrying, don't you dare, Chuka roared. Don't you dare curse my child. You have done enough damage. Get out, now. Mama Chuka stood up, trembling with rage and pain. She pointed at Adana. 5 years I made you barren, but I can do worse. I can make sure that child never... Chuka grabbed her mother's arm and dragged her to the door. She was screaming and cursing all the way. He opened the door and pushed her out. If you ever come near my wife or my child again, he said in a voice Adana had never heard before, you will regret it. Stay away from us forever. He slammed the door and locked it. Chuka turned to Adana. His face was wet with tears. God, Adana, I'm so sorry. You finally stood up for me. That's what matters. He knelt down in front of her and placed his hand on her stomach. I promise you, he said to her belly, I promise this child that I will protect you both. No one will hurt you again. Not my mother, not anyone.
3 months had passed since Chuka threw his mother out of their house. Adana's pregnancy was growing beautifully. Her stomach was now visible, round and full of life. The ultrasound showed she was carrying twins. A boy and a girl. Twins. After 5 years of nothing, God had given her double blessings. But the joy was mixed with tension because Mama Chuka was not going quietly. The first week after the confrontation, she called Chuka's phone over 50 times. He blocked her number. She called from other people's phones. He stopped answering unknown numbers. She went to his office. Security did not let her in because Chuka had given strict instructions. She sent his brothers to beg him. Chuka told them everything their mother had done. At first, they didn't believe him. But when he took them to Okbara, the native doctor, and Okbara confirmed the story, they were shocked into silence. The brothers were angry, but they were also conflicted. She was still their mother.
How do you completely cut off your own mother? You people can do what you want, Chuka told them. But my wife and children will never be near that woman again. What she did is unforgivable. The village was scandalized. News spread like wildfire. Mama Chuka, the proud, prayerful woman, had used juju against her own daughter-in-law. People who once respected her now whispered behind her back. Some people said Chuka was wicked for abandoning his mother. Others said Mama Chuka got what she deserved. The village was divided, but Mama Chuka herself was suffering the most. The juju had truly backfired. She lost weight rapidly. Her skin became rough and dark. Her hair started falling out. She vomited blood daily. She went to different hospitals, but doctors found nothing medically wrong with her. She knew what was wrong. The curse she had placed on Adana had returned to her 7 times stronger, and there was only one way to break it. She had to genuinely ask for forgiveness. But Mama Chuka was too proud. That evening, she got a call from Ifeoma. Adana, Mama is very sick, Ifeoma said. The sickness from the backfire is getting worse. She's in the hospital now. She's been asking for Chuka. He won't go, Adana said. I know, but I'm calling to warn you. Some people in the family are saying if Mama dies, it's your fault. They are saying you should have forgiven her by now, that you are being wicked by keeping her away from her son and grandchildren. Let them say what they want, Adana said. She tried to destroy my life for 5 years. She only confessed when she was caught. She has never once said sorry. I know. I just wanted you to be prepared. Village people can be cruel with their judgments. 2 weeks later, Adana woke up in the middle of the night with a strange feeling. She sat up in bed, her hand on her stomach. The babies were moving, but something felt different. Chuka, she whispered, shaking her husband. I think something is wrong. He jumped up immediately. What? What's wrong? I don't know. I feel strange. They rushed to the hospital. The doctor examined her and smiled. Mrs. Adana, you are fine, but you are going into early labor. The babies want to come out. But I'm only 7 months pregnant, Adana said, panicking. 7 months is safe for twins. They are both in good position. We are going to do a cesarean section. 6 hours later, Adana gave birth to a boy and a girl. They were small but healthy. Perfect. Beautiful. When Chuka held his children for the first time, he cried. These were the children his mother had tried to prevent from existing. These beautiful, innocent souls. Their names, Adana said weakly from the hospital bed. The boy will be Chukwuemeka. God has done great things. The girl will be Oluchi. God's work. Chuka nodded, tears streaming down his face. Perfect names. News of the twins' birth spread quickly. Chuka's brothers came to visit with their wives. They brought gifts and congratulations. Even Ifeoma cried when she held the babies. But one person was notably absent, Mama Chuka. She was still in the hospital, in a different ward of the same hospital where Adana had given birth. When she heard that her son's wife had delivered twins, something broke inside her. She had spent 5 years preventing these children from being born, and they were born anyway. That night, Mama Chuka asked the nurse to call her son. Chuka was in Adana's room holding his daughter when his phone rang. It was the hospital. Mr. Chuka, your mother is very weak. She says it's urgent. Chuka looked at Adana. She nodded slowly. Go, she said. Hear what she has to say. Chuka went to his mother's ward. What he saw shocked him. His mother, once big and strong and proud, was now a skeleton. Her skin hung loose on her bones. Her eyes were sunken. She looked like she was already dead. My son, she whispered when she saw him. Chuka stood at the door. He didn't come closer. The nurse said you wanted to see me. Yes, come closer. I cannot speak loudly. He moved closer but didn't sit down. Mama Chuka looked at him with tears in her eyes. I heard she gave birth. Twins. Yes. Boy and a girl? Yes. Because of pride? Because I wanted to control who you... Fresh tears ran down her face. I have been lying here, thinking about what I did. For 5 years, I prevented those children from being born. For 5 years, I made that girl suffer. And for what? Because of pride? Because I wanted to control who you married? Chuka said nothing. I am dying, Mama Chuka continued. The doctors say there's nothing wrong with me, but I know. The juju has come back to kill me, and I deserve it. I deserve everything happening to me. Is that all you wanted to say? Chuka asked coldly. No, I want to ask you to do something for me. What? Tell Adana I am sorry. Tell her I know what I did was wicked. Tell her I know I destroyed 5 years of her life for nothing. Tell her... She started coughing, blood coming from her mouth. When she stopped, she continued. Tell her I am dying and I am afraid. I am afraid of what will happen to my soul after what I did. I need her forgiveness. Please, beg her for me. I am begging now. I cannot die with this sin on my head. Please, my son. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I am asking anyway. Chuka looked at this woman who had raised him, who had sacrificed for him, who also tried to destroy his marriage. I will tell her what you said, he finally said, but I cannot make her forgive you. After what you did, she has every right to refuse. He turned to leave. Chuka, his mother called weakly. Can I at least see them, the twins, just once before I die? Chuka stopped at the door. No, Mama. You tried to prevent them from being born. You don't get to see them now. He left without looking back. When he returned to Adana's room, she could see the pain on his face. What did she say? Adana asked. Chuka told her everything. When he finished, he said, she's dying, Adana, and she's asking for your forgiveness, but you don't have to give it. After what she did, no one would blame you for refusing. Adana was quiet for a long time. She looked at her babies, sleeping peacefully in their crib. Take me to her, Adana finally said. What? Are you sure? Yes, I need to see her. Chuka pushed Adana's wheelchair to his mother's ward. The nurse had allowed it since they were both patients in the same hospital. When they entered, Mama Chuka looked up and saw Adana. She started crying immediately. Adana, she whispered, you came. Adana looked at the woman who had tormented her for 5 years, the woman who had used juju to keep her barren, the woman who had insulted her, degraded her, treated her worse than a housemaid. This powerful, proud woman was now reduced to this, a dying skeleton in a hospital bed. I came to tell you something, Adana said. Her voice was calm. For 5 years, you made my life hell. You did everything in your power to destroy me and my marriage. You used evil means to keep me from having the children I desperately wanted. You showed me no mercy, no kindness, no love. Mama Chuka was crying harder now. I know, I am so sorry. But, Adana continued, I am not you. I am not going to let your wickedness make me wicked too. I am not going to let your bitterness make me bitter. So I forgive you. Mama Chuka's eyes widened in shock. You forgive me? I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. I deserve to move forward without the weight of anger and revenge in my heart. My children deserve a mother who is free from bitterness. So yes, I forgive you. Thank you. But, Adana said, family, forgiveness doesn't mean I will forget. It doesn't mean you can be part of our lives. You will never see my children. You will never visit our home. You will never have any part in our family. I forgive you so I can be free, but you will face the consequences of your actions. Mama Chuka nodded weakly. I understand, but at least tell me, what did you name them? Adana hesitated, then said, Chukwuemeka and Oluchi. God has done great things, and God's work, perfect names, perfect. She closed her eyes. At least I know their names before I die. You're not going to die, Adana said. Mama Chuka opened her eyes in surprise. The curse will break now, Adana explained. I forgave you genuinely from my heart. That breaks the spiritual chain. The backlash will stop. You will get better. But you will live with the shame of what you did. You will live knowing you almost destroyed your own family because of pride. That is your punishment. Adana turned her wheelchair around. Chuka, take me back to my babies. As they left, they heard Mama Chuka crying, but these were different tears, not tears of pain or bitterness, tears of relief and regret. True to Adana's words, Mama Chuka's health began to improve the next day. The bleeding stopped. Her strength slowly returned. Within 2 weeks, she was discharged from the hospital. But everything had changed. Her sons treated her differently now, with caution instead of blind respect. The village treated her differently, with pity instead of admiration. She had her life back, but she had lost everything else. Her pride, her reputation, her relationship with her firstborn son and his family. Meanwhile, Adana and Chuka took their twins home. Their house was filled with laughter and baby cries. Chuka's brothers and wives visited often, bringing gifts and support. Chuka had truly changed. He was attentive, protective, loving. He had learned his lesson the hard way, that silence in the face of evil is not peace, it's cowardice. 6 months after the twins were born, Adana reopened her fashion shop. Business boomed. Women came from all over to buy from her because they had heard her story, the woman who defeated her wicked mother-in-law and got her blessings.